Hey kids, welcome back to another episode of Oldman Plays CFL Fantasy Football. And this week, we're trying to put together a championship team. Hey, I made it through the semifinals. Managed to defeat Rouge Daltz from Rouge Radio. I had 93.9, he had 90.1. It was a low-scoring week. I think the top score for the week was 113.7. And that was from CFCAdam, who managed to beat Greg on Sports, so he's in the final too. Now that's, I believe, Adam Stewart from the Canadian Football Countdown. He's the league commissioner, and he's in the final, so, I got my whining ready. If I lose, it was fixed. If I win, it's all perfectly above board. Just kidding, of course. Wouldn't go quite that orange. And there is something on the line with the championship. $350 to go to the charity of our choice. So, if Adam wins, that will all be going to CFL Fans Fight Cancer, which is, of course, a great cause. Lots of stuff going on with CFL Fans Fight Cancer as we get down to Grey Cup week. Look for ways that you can maybe get involved and take part. If you're going out to Grey Cup, they've got festivities going on there, silent auctions, things like that. I don't know if they have any of their merch left on their site, but you could certainly check that out, CFLFansFightCancer.com, if I remember right. So that's where his is going. Mine, a little more personal. A year and a half back, the goddess and I unfortunately lost one of our grandchildren, a son named River Hyde, who was born with some issues and unfortunately passed early. So if I manage to win this, we'll be donating it in River's name to the Okanagan and Similkameen Neurological Society Child and Youth Development Center. So off to a good cause. Let's hope we win it. So it's exciting. Wish me luck going ahead with what's there. And let's take a look at what we've got coming up, how I'm going to put together a team for this. So let's start with looking at the games for this week. It's going to be some tough ones because a lot of teams have nothing to play for, and it's hard to tell what you're going to get out of that. But we'll start with Saskatchewan at Winnipeg. Now, Saskatchewan is playing basically their backups right across the board pretty much. Will they be able to play well enough to beat a Winnipeg team that's up and down? I honestly don't know. I think Winnipeg should take this one. But who do you take from Winnipeg? I certainly don't trust Zach. Again, definitely not against the Saskatchewan defense. The only one who I would consider is Brady, but Sask has a good running defense, and then Dembski, and he's out. So I don't know. You could go with, I guess, Wilson or perhaps Wheatfall or Stearns. They may all get you some points, but I don't feel good about it. And on the Saskatchewan side, with most of the big-name players being out, I think I'm going to give it a miss. However, they are starting Mario Anderson, 2.5K running back in a starting position. I think I may take a chance there. Going on to the next game, Edmonton at BC. This is where the fantasy matchup is. You've got a lot going on. With Edmonton, you've got Cody, who's looking very good and putting up some good fantasy numbers. He's got a chance to score some touchdowns on his own, so you don't know there. Could be helpful. Got the darling of the league right now, Justin Rankin, who's looking very good. And you could go with, well, I guess Keon Julian Grant is playing reasonably well for them. I don't feel great about that, but a good low price option might be Hilaire, who's come on in the last few games. He's not, well, so far he's not getting touchdowns and huge things, but he's probably good for 7 or 8 points in the game, and that's going to be worth it because I'm imagining he's somewhere around 2.5. Now on the other side, BC, Nathan, he's been the darling of the fantasy, so you pretty much have to go that way. You could look at Butler. He's a good running back too, but very expensive. They've also got Horvath, who has come on in the last while, and if they do what they've done in the past few games, he may get in the second half, and who knows, break off a couple of long runs, maybe even get another touchdown. So I'm thinking of going that way. And then the wide receivers, McInnes apparently pulled up a little bit of a hamstring in the last practice and took the second half off. Now, they said he's going to be good to go But I think I've got to watch that closely coming up to game time tonight and see, do they say, is he in or out? If he's out, there are others that I can put in there. But I think I'm definitely going to go that way with the Lions. Montreal at Ottawa. Montreal again. Davis Alexander was a little bit maybe rusty something last week. Didn't look as good as he could have. I don't know that I trust him. Sneed didn't have a big game. Philpott didn't have a big game. Stevie Scott III is running back at, I think, about $5,000, but I think you can do better on a lower-priced running back there. So I'm kind of staying away from this one as well. And same thing on the Ottawa side. Unless you want to go with Tyree Adams and go cheap on quarterback and then go for expensive players as much as you can elsewhere, that's an option. But other than that, I don't see too many there that I'm looking at. And on the Toronto-Calgary game, well, who knows what will happen here. Calgary should win this. They're at home. They need it. Toronto doesn't. But Toronto and Calgary are always a weird matchup, and I just don't know what to think. So I would say your safe ones with Toronto are probably Brissett and Mattel. You could take a flyer on Herslow. If he gets a few big plays, then that's great, but he's boom or bust, so I'm avoiding that. And on the Calgary side, again, will you get the VA that we saw last week and early in the season, or will you get the bad VA? And even the great VA isn't that good at fantasy points. So I'm staying away from there. And again, Mills maybe as a running back. He does fairly well, and he'll probably get a lot of work in this game, although Toronto is middle of the pack against the running game, so I wouldn't count on too much there. And then maybe Philpott, but again, when VA's on, he's throwing it all over the board, so it's hard to say. Helpful, aren't I? That's about the best that I think I've got to say on all that. Let's fire up the pick'em on the old computer here, see if we can put together a championship team. Okay, now let's get this party started. We said we wanted to go with Nathan Rourke at quarterback, and in fact, the first few we want to be BC Lions, so we'll just put the Lions right up there on the board. We want Horvath as one of our running backs on there, and our wide receivers, we wanted Hatcher and McInnes, with the keeping in mind that we got to watch McInnes towards game time. Make sure he goes in there and we don't have to swap anyone else out. So the other running back, we said Saskatchewan had a 2.5 running back in with Mario Anderson. We're going to go with him. We're going to then look for our defense, and as usual, we'll take the cheapest one, at least for now. That's Ottawa. That leaves, 15.5, so we can put anyone we want in our flex position. And let's see, who do we end up here at the top of the board? Justin Rankin, $15,000, projected at 18.9 points. I don't know about that, but I've got Hatcher. Lawler's not in. Working my way down the board. I don't know that there's anybody I like better than Rankin. So yeah, let's do that. So there he is. Rankin's in there. We're going to make Nathan the captain. Man, that was quick and easy this week. Let's hope that it works out for the game. Locking them in. We're done. Okay, well, that's it, kids. That's my run at the championship. My picks come with the usual caveat. If you choose to use them, do so at your peril. Who knows where we'll go from here. Hopefully it's to a championship and some money for the OSNS Child and Youth Development Center. That would be wonderful. Please, before you go, take a moment to hit the subscribe button, whether it's YouTube or podcast. That all helps. I know I don't do it either, but please, it only takes a second. That's the biggest way to help. Also, while you're there, maybe, leave a comment if you're at all inspired, a rating, a review, anything like that for the podcasts, anything to help. Lord knows we can use the help here. So, thank you. Hope you have a great weekend of fantasy football. I hope we all see a great weekend of CFL and circumstances that look like they could lead to maybe not the best games. So we'll have to see. I guess we'll talk more about that next week, and I'll fill you in on how the championship went. Till then, Old Man, signing off.